everyone, and welcome to Ielts Insider. My name is James, and today we are going to be looking at some vocabulary. We'll be looking at 10 essential phrasal verbs that you can use in the IELTS speaking test, also in the writing test, and also these are the types of phrases that you may hear in the listening or you may see in the reading as well. So you're going to see 10 quite common phrasal verbs that can be very useful for you. It will make your speech sound a little bit more natural. And today we'll be trying to give you some introduction to phrasal verbs. We'll look at the examples and how they're used. I will have a short test for you later today. And as usual, there will be some homework at the end of today's live lesson. Please remember, everyone, to like the video and subscribe to our channel, IELTS Insider, if you haven't already. You will be able to find lots of useful videos and materials on our YouTube site. And if you check the link in the description of this video, you will see links to all of our other social media sites and to our website. So, before we get started today, I can see we've got quite a few comments coming in. So let's look at some of those comments before we get started today. Sleepwalker is here, and Sleepwalker saying hello, everyone. Hello, Sleepwalker. I hope you are very well today. And I'm getting a special hi from Sleepwalker. Hi to you. Layla is here and she's saying, hi, James, how are you doing? I am doing very well today, Layla. Thank you very much for asking. And how are you today, Layla? I hope you are well. And we've got a little chat between Layla and Sleepwalker, which is always nice to see. Sleepwalker is saying phrasal verbs is one of the most difficult things in English. Yes, they can be difficult, Sleepwalker, and hopefully today I can kind of show you the ways that we use them, what you should do with phrasal verbs and what you don't do with them. And I think the most important thing with phrasal verbs, Sleepwalker, is only use them if you are confident that you know what they mean and you know how to use them correctly. And hopefully today I can show you the meanings and how to use them in sentences. And today's phrasal verbs are mostly about everyday kind of life. So we can use these in our everyday speech. So hopefully these ones are not as difficult as some other phrasal verbs. Layla is saying here, phrasal verbs are very important to learn because native speakers use them all the time. Yep. So I think that's the kind of main reason that I would like to do this lesson today, is by just using a few phrasal verbs in your speech, you can sound a lot more natural. And as I said before, the phrasal verbs I'm going to be looking at today are not so difficult. I think they're not so difficult. And I think you can incorporate them in your natural speech. And they do make you sound a lot more natural, Layla. So yeah, they can be very, very useful. Anna Maria is here. She's saying, hello, James. Hello, Anna Maria. And Lavanya is also here. She's saying hello to everybody and hello to me. Hello, Lavanya. And saying hello to Sleepwalker as well. And there's, hello, I will tell you Skywalker one day. Okay. I noticed that Americans use phrasal verbs very often. but native speakers from the UK use them less. Um, do you know, Sleepwalker, I have never noticed that before, but that could be correct. Maybe it is more common in American English than it is in British, but yeah, obviously if that's what you're hearing, yeah, that would be correct. So yeah, as I say, I don't know if that is correct. I have never noticed it. One thing I do notice about American English is they do use a lot of idioms, especially sports idioms. They use a lot of idioms in their speech related or that come from sport. So that's maybe something that I have noticed. With phrasal verbs, I haven't noticed it, but that doesn't mean that it is not correct. Um, Sleepwalker saying hello to Anna Maria, to Lavanya. Very good. Thank you, Sleepwalker. We can hear and see you. Always great to know before we start the stream. Layla's saying, I'm doing very well. I'm so active and healthy. So what have you been doing, Layla? Have you been out walking or doing some other activities? Amit is saying hi. Hi, Amit. Nice to see you here. And Anur, can anyone be available to chat? Yes, Anur, everybody is available to chat. Any questions you have. And later in the lesson, I will be encouraging you to write some sentences in the chat, write some answers to the test in the chat. So yeah, everybody is available to chat. We are looking forward to learn new phrasal verbs. Great, Sleepwalker. Phrasal verbs are made by adding a preposition. Yes, most of the time. And I will be explaining that in section 2, what are phrasal verbs. Ali is here and he's saying hi, everyone. Amit is saying phrasal verbs are very confusing. Yes, they can be. Hopefully today I can relieve a little bit of your confusion and show you how we use them correctly. Hello, TR. Can anyone? Yeah, anyone is available to chat. Robin's here and saying, remember to like the video. Yes, everyone, please remember to like the video. And Sleepwalker saying hello to Robin, lovely. And hi, teacher from Asma. Hi, Asma. Eunice is here. Hello, teacher James. Hello, everyone. Hello, Eunice. And Layla's saying, I did my chores and last night I slept well. Besides, I met some of my friends. Excellent sentences there, Layla. Okay, and we're getting lots of hellos. Anur is saying, what do you offer to help your students? Well, we offer these live streams. We offer homework assignments. We will correct those homework assignments. We have a WhatsApp group where you can join and meet other students, and we can chat in those groups as well. We have a website. So if you look in the description of this video, you will find all the information to our other social media and our website and chat groups. Excellent, Amit. Thank you very much. And Anna Maria, I don't know what this emoji means here. I'm not sure. Okay, maybe you can explain, Anna Maria, what that emoji means. But great, everybody is here and we are ready to start with today's lesson about phrasal verbs. So let's start with what are phrasal verbs? Well, first of all, they are a collection of words that consist of a verb and a preposition and or an adverb. So most phrasal verbs are a combination of verb and preposition. Most of them are. But some other phrasal verbs will use a combination of verb, preposition, and adverb, or sometimes a verb and two prepositions. Sometimes we will have a verb and an adverb. But the most common type is just to have a verb and preposition. So here is an example of a phrasal verb. Call off. So this means to cancel something. If we call off something, it is cancelled, or sometimes it is postponed to a later date. So this is a good example. We've got our verb here, call. We have a preposition off, and together these make up a definition which means to cancel something. So let's look at this phrasal verb call off. And here are three examples of how we can use this. So we called off the match due to bad weather. So basically meaning we cancelled the match due to bad weather. You'll notice here the verb is changing in grammar tense, but nothing else is changing. Off is always off. So the only thing that will change when we're using phrasal verbs is the grammar tense. So the verb just acts like a verb would act in normal grammar rules. They had to call off their wedding. So again, the wedding has been cancelled. We called it off. They had to call off their wedding. We called off the seminar as not enough people registered. So again, this is using past tense here. So we're changing the verb call to called. So these sentences just give us an example of how we can use the phrasal verb call off to explain that something has been cancelled or postponed. So when we use phrasal verbs, as I showed in those examples, the verb tense changes like it would in a regular sentence. So if we're using a past sentence, call off becomes called off. If we're using a future sentence with going to, I am going to call off the wedding. If we are using it in present simple, well, we don't change it at all. It's just people call off things all the time. So just think about the verb on its own when you're thinking about grammar. Don't worry about the prepositions or adverbs in the phrasal verb. They don't need to change. It's only the verb that needs to change when we are using a different grammar tense. So the reason that we learn phrasal verbs or we use them is they do make your speech sound more natural. As Sleepwalker mentioned earlier on, she's noticed that Americans use them a lot. I think as well, British people use a lot of phrasal verbs as well. They are very common. So if you're using them in the Ielts test, it can make your speech sound more natural. However, incorrect use of these expressions can have the opposite effect. If you try to use a phrasal verb and you either get the meaning confused or you confuse the grammar, it can make you look like you're not so good at using this type of expression. So be careful when you're using these phrasal verbs. So it's important to understand their meaning and how to use them fully before you actually start using these phrasal verbs. So we're going to start by looking at some common phrasal verbs. Just before we do this, let's look at some. The screen is a little bit cloudy. Okay, I don't know if that maybe is your internet speed that's causing that. I'm looking at my screen just now, Ali, and it's very clear. So maybe your bandwidth is maybe being is a little bit low. Anna Maria, it was like a hug. Okay, excellent, Anna Maria. So you're explaining your emoji from earlier on. Ah, I can see that now. Okay, excellent. We've got a lot of hellos coming in, and then Layla's explaining as well. I guess this emoji means hugging. Good. And Riri is here. I am here. Yes, it's very good. It's nice to see you, Riri. And Anna Maria is saying, pay attention to the class. It's so good. Excellent, Anna Maria. Call off equals cancel. Yes. Okay, Mami. I am late. That's okay, Mirnawati. We're just getting into the important things now. So don't need to worry about being a little bit late. Get, take, go, take, out, down, up. So today, Eunice, we're going to be looking at 10 common phrasal verbs that can be used in everyday speech. Some of them will be using get, I think. Some using bring, catch as well. But yeah, we'll be looking at some common ones. Hi, Mirnawati, the good student. Very nice. Amit is saying we called off our summer vacation. Yes. So there's a good example of how we could use call off in a sentence. We would not use the S on this here, but just vacation. We called off our summer vacation. Very good example. On Sunday, the lesson was not called off. Excellent. Very good. So there we're using a negative with this as well. It was not called off, meaning it was not cancelled. So we are doing the lesson now. Very good, Sleepwalker. At first screen is currently okay. All right, good. Then is very common to use phrasal verbs in IELTS exam. Yeah, they'll be used in the IELTS exam. In the listening, you will hear people using some phrasal verbs. They probably won't be used that much in the speaking part with the questions, but there could be some questions using that phrasal verbs. But this is more about trying to get you to use them in your speech, Layla, and it can make you sound more natural. About memory, yep. Using words is the best way to memorize. So the clue is using them in our daily life. Excellent, Anna Maria. And the phrasal verbs I have chosen today are ones that I think you can use to talk about your daily life. So these ones will give you a great opportunity to use them more often. And also today, we'll get an opportunity to practice using these. You can make some sentences in the chat. Oh, I'm flattered, but don't mention it. I'm a terrible student, though. I don't think so, Mirnawati. Phrasal verbs can be tricky, Amit, but if you listen carefully today and follow the examples, I'm sure you'll be able to use them. Yeah, be sure you know the meaning of phrasal verb before using this. That's a great point, Sleepwalker, because quite often the meaning of the phrasal verb is completely different from the meaning of the verb in the sentence. So it's really important to use the phrasal verbs correctly, learn them and use them. Excellent, Layla. Screen is very clear. Our results, I would put in here, our results were called off. Please don't call off live streams. Okay, very good. Of and off. Well, of off is a preposition that means to either, we would always kind of use this with phrasal verbs, turn off. So meaning not the opposite of on. Of is a commonly used preposition when we are linking things together. I've tried to think of an example here. I can't think of an example using of. Of is something we're not going to be using in phrasal verbs today, Amit. But yeah, I'm trying to think of, my mind has gone blank here thinking of a sentence with such a simple word of. So let's say it was a book of, it was a collection of books. There we go. It was a collection of books. So of is used as a preposition to link two ideas together, the collection and the word books there. So of and of have completely different meanings here, Amit. Yeah, very good. The live stream had some technical issues, therefore James called it off immediately. Perfect sentence, Layla. Okay, no problem now. All right. So let's go on to our first phrasal verb today. And that phrasal verb is break down. And this is a really common expression used to talk about kind of two different meanings, but similar meanings. So the first meaning of breakdown is to stop working because of a fault or if something breaks. So you may have experienced this before with your cell phone, computer, maybe your car. And we're usually using this to talk about pieces of machinery that have broken down. But it can also mean to fail as well. If something stops working. So this is when we're talking about failing here, it's not so much about machinery, it's maybe to do more with relationships or things like that. So basically when we're using breakdown, we're using this to talk about something that is no longer operating, no longer working. So if we look at two examples here, our car broke down, so we had to take the bus. So here we're using the past tense. Break turns into broke. Our car broke down, so we had to take the bus. You'll notice when we're changing the grammar in the phrasal verb, this doesn't change. The preposition is staying the same. So I've seen a few examples where people change this part. Never change this. So sentence, our car break downed. No. Remember, when we're using phrasal verbs, the preposition will not change. The verb will change. So our car broke down, so we had to take the bus. Their relationship had broken down. So here we've got a sentence using the past perfect grammar tense, had, and the past participle of break. So we go break, broke, broken. So again, we notice that it's only the verb that's changing in the sentence. The preposition down is staying the same. So their relationship had broken down. So that is our first phrasal verb we're looking at today. Break down, meaning to stop working because of a fault or to fail. So as a few people said at the beginning today, the best way to practice is by using them. So I want you to think of some sentences, maybe about your life, and I want you to think of maybe some machines that you've had that have maybe broken down. And let's see if you can make some sentences and use the phrasal verb correctly. Change the grammar if you have to, if you're talking about the past, present, future. So everybody, you can write your sentences in the chat and I will show some on the screen and make some corrections if needed. While we are doing this, I will look at some of your other Mirnawati. Now, some phrasal verbs and idioms could be the same thing, but usually idioms could be a much longer sentence. But yeah, some idioms are phrasal verbs. They could be the same thing, um, but some idioms are not phrasal verbs, if you kind of understand that. So yeah, idioms again are phrases from um, everyday life. They're very commonly used among native speakers. But yeah, some phrasal verbs can be idioms. Um, a lot of idioms are maybe a little bit longer, and they are definitely more difficult than phrasal verbs. So that's maybe something I will look at in another video, Mirnawati. We'll look at some common idioms. Broken down is very used. Um, do you mean is it used often? Well, I think it's used if we're using that grammar. If we're using either present perfect or past perfect, we would have to use broken down because that's the grammar that suits the verb for that type of grammar tense. So yeah, those grammar tenses are not as commonly used as present simple or simple past, but yeah, it is used if the time you're talking about requires you to use that. Yeah. The electricity broke down. Yeah, I think we could use here if there was a fault in your electricity. So the electricity, I would maybe say, add another word, the electricity system broke down would be maybe a little better here, but that's good. Um, Protease is an enzyme that functions in our body to break down protein. Excellent. This is but do you know what, Mirnawati? You have used the word here, but that is not the meaning we were looking at. So, basically, here is where phrasal verbs become very, very difficult. So, yeah, this time we're not using breakdown here to mean to stop working, to fail. This is not being used as a phrasal verb. This is describing what is happening, to break down or break up something. So here is another meaning. Break down means to make something smaller. So yeah, we're not using breakdown in this sentence, Mirnawati, to mean to stop working because of a fault or to fail. This is another meaning, which means to make something smaller, to break it down, to pull it apart. So yeah, that this I can understand now why some of you are finding phrasal verbs a little bit difficult. Okay, so here, no, is broken down. The grammar doesn't work here. So I would say here, my phone broke down. Let's buy a new one. My phone broke down. So this grammar doesn't work because we're using this be verb. You could also say, my phone has broken down. That would be possible using the present perfect. My phone has broken down. Let's buy a new one. Or my phone broke down. Let's buy a new one. Last year, my cell phone had broken down, so I had to buy a new one. Very good. Nice. Breakdown of a relationship is not good. Excellent. I would just add in the at the beginning here, Amit. The breakdown of our relationship is not good. Now, here we wouldn't use this phrasal verb. Here we're just using broke my heart. So this one, we couldn't use the phrasal verb in this sentence. We're not describing failing or stop working because of a fault. So here, someone broke my heart. This sentence doesn't need the phrasal verb. Excellent, Anna Maria. I'm not good. We're just looking for one preposition here. I'm not good at fixing things when they break down. So you've used the phrasal verb perfectly. We just need a little preposition in here. I'm not good at. The lift in this building broke down. Everyone was forced to use the stairs. Excellent sentence, Sleepwalker. Perfect use of breakdown means defect. Yes, it could be a defect. Defect is a fault. Yeah. So breakdown. So breakdown actually isn't the defect. It means something stops working. Okay, so something stops working because of a defect. So it doesn't necessarily mean defect, but it is caused by a defect or a fault. Yeah, there we go. Call off means to cancel. Breakdown means to stop working. Very good, Anna Maria. The engine of his car broke down a few weeks ago. Therefore, he decided to take it to the mechanic. So we just add in it there. Very good, Layla. Lovely sentence. My class teacher suddenly broke down our class. So this doesn't really work in this sentence. Because the class has not stopped working. What we would want to use here, I think, is call off. My class teacher suddenly called off our classes. I think the first phrasal verb from today, the example, would work better here. Cancelled the class. So breakdown doesn't really work in this sentence, but call off would. I bought a house and now it is broken down. Now, again, a house is not really a piece of machinery, so we wouldn't be using this phrasal verb for a house. So I bought a house and now it is broken, even, but I don't really know how how this could happen here. So yeah, I think in this sentence, because it's not a piece of machinery, broken down doesn't really work so well. I would change this. No. So no, this doesn't work because we're using still. It doesn't really work in the present perfect. So take still out here. My laptop has broken down. We could also say my laptop has been broken down. No, that wouldn't work either. Yeah, I think just take still out here, Eunice. My laptop has broken down would be correct. The engine of his car broke down a few weeks ago. There, yes, there we go. Take it to the mechanic. So it is talking about the engine of his car. Sene is saying hi. Hi, Sene. Breaking down with someone makes me exhausted. Now, oh, so here in this situation, we're talking about a relationship ending. There's a different phrasal verb we would use for this, Anna Maria, and it is break up. So when we talk about an end of a relationship, so I broke up with my boyfriend or I broke up with my girlfriend. So here we would change this to breaking up with someone makes me exhausted. That's why it's better to be alone. So that's a there's another example of how phrasal verbs can be a little bit difficult and how we can use them incorrectly. So the phrasal verb break up means to end a relationship, to finish a relationship. So we would change this breaking up with someone. She intentionally, again, we don't need a phrasal verb. She intentionally broke my phone. So if somebody is breaking your phone, it's not because of a fault. It's because somebody is choosing to do that action. So here, No, it's not stopped working because of a fault. It has stopped working because someone has broken it. So in this case, she intentionally broke my phone. There's no need for the phrasal verb here. Okay. Yeah, I would correct the grammar as we go. My car is very old, like an antique. So I would just change this. It breaks down many times. It breaks down many times. So broken down is never going to be possible here. The three options you have with this are break, broke, broken. You are welcome, Anna Maria. Yes, very good. My nephew is an expert at fixing things when they break down. Okay, my electricity now has broken down. Um, and I would think now this would be in the past, so we would have to say had broken down. So obviously your electricity is working now, but it had broken down in the past. So we would change that a little bit. Okay, let's go on. I've not got time to go through all of these just now. Breaking up with someone. The generator broke down. Good. Unexpert. Good. Okay. We're spending a lot of time on number one. I want to move on. Breaking up means didn't work out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The discussion broke down through misunderstanding. Right. Let's go on to phrasal verb number two. Phrasal verb number two is bring up. And bring up means to care for a child, teaching them how to behave. So, like most parents will bring up children. That's what we would use. But it can also be used to talk about our childhood. So, again, here, some examples. My mother brought up four children. So, my mother cared for four children and taught them how to behave. My mother brought up four children. Um, we could also use this to talk about where you lived when you were younger and where you were educated. So, this would be talking about our childhood. I was brought up in the USA. So, again, we can change the grammar depending on what we're trying to say. We're noticing again, bring is the only thing that is changing here. Up has stayed the same. So bring up becomes brought up. And if we're using it in the past participle form, it is also brought as well. So bring, brought, brought. So yeah, it meaning to raise someone. So bring up. You could use this in your introduction sentences. So you're introducing where you're from. So I am from France. I was brought up in Paris. So it's quite a useful phrase that we can incorporate into introduction sentences, talking about where we are from. I was brought up by my parents, is another thing we could say here as well. So, this use of it here can be really useful when we're giving introductions. So, we could even say things like, I was brought up in a small town in Saudi Arabia, or I was brought up in a big city in Brazil. So, I think this is probably the most common use that you would have for it in the Ielts test. However, if you're talking about your family and you're talking about your mother or father, so you could mention that my mother and father brought up five children, and we lived in this city. So this can be very, very useful when you're talking about where you come from. So again, everyone, I would like you to try to write some sentences using the phrasal verb bring up. And again, I will check your grammar. Make sure if you're using the past tense to change bring to brought. And let's see what sentences we can get. Yeah, this is good, Sleepwalker. The discussion broke down through misunderstanding. Okay. My parents taught me never to lie when they were bringing me up. Excellent. So here Layla is using the past continuous tense here when they were bringing me up. So we're changing bring to bringing. We'll also notice here Layla has split the phrasal verb with the her pronoun me. This is excellent use of this phrasal verb. And this is another a point of phrasal verbs that can be confusing sometimes. Some phrasal verbs, we can insert a pronoun in between them. So that is an excellent sentence. Just a few things. My parents taught me never to lie when they were bringing me up. So here we would put in, I was brought up with two brothers. So in here, but this is good. Yep, I was brought up with two brothers. He becomes very... Okay, so I would say he was very mischievous when I was bringing him up. So we need to change. He was very mischievous when I was bringing him up, or when he was brought up. Okay, my huge responsibility as a mother is to bring up my children to have a laudable attitude. So, attitude here is not a verb. So usually verb will be following, or sorry, to do something. Here, this is something that we possess, an attitude. So we would change do to have. So my huge responsibility as a mother is to bring up my children to have a laudable attitude. Very nice sentence. My auntie brought up 9 kids and they are like my siblings. Perfect sentence, Anna Maria. Really good. She had to bring up 4 children dependently after her husband passed away. I would put in independently. Independently means on your own. So she had to bring up 4 children independently. Ali brought up by my uncle. So I would put in was here. Ali was brought up by my uncle. Very good, Asifa. Grow up, grow, bring up, difference. Grow up and bring up are very, very similar. Grow is completely different. So grow you can use to talk about plants. You can use to talk about people. You can use, so grow just meaning get bigger. Grow up and bring up are referring to your childhood. So I grew up in the USA. I was brought up in the USA, same meaning. So grow up and bring up, very, very similar. Grow is different because we're just talking about getting bigger. We can use grow for so many other things. Grow up and bring up are quite specific to talking about your childhood. Yes, Layla, perfect sentence now. She was brought up in strictness and had many. I would change this a little bit. She was brought up in a strict household and had many responsibilities. So in a strict household would be better. But excellent use of brought up. I know a friend who was brought up by his aunt. Okay, I think some good sentences there. So let's move on to our third phrasal verb today, which is to catch up. And this is another one that has two slightly different meanings. I think meaning number two is the one that is going to be most useful for us today because it's used to talk about our relationships with friends and family. So, the first meaning is to reach somebody who is ahead of you by going faster. So, let's say you are meeting your friend and you say, "Oh, you just go on, I will catch up later." So, meaning like a race. One person is going and you're trying to catch up. So, that is one meaning to catch up, and it's quite a literal meaning. The second meaning is when you haven't seen someone for a long time and you meet them again and you talk about what you have been doing in that time. We call that um, to catch up as well. So let's say you haven't seen one of your friends from school for maybe 2 years and you bump into them in the street and you decide, let's go for a coffee together. And you tell your friend what you have been doing, and your friend tells what they have been doing in the time that you haven't seen each other. You are catching up then. So it's about basically seeing someone you haven't seen and finding out what's happening in their life. So, again, some examples. For the first one, you go ahead and I will catch up with you in a few minutes. So, that's meaning you're going one place and I will come soon and we will meet. So, that was the first meaning. I said the second meaning I think is probably more useful when we're talking about friends and relationships. It's always nice to catch up with old friends. I caught up with Sarah last week. It was nice seeing her again. So, here for the second meaning, again, it's just showing people getting together who haven't seen each other for a long time and talking about what's been happening in their life. So, again, let's see if you can use some of these sentences. Um, Now, Anna Maria, for this first one, I need to run if I want to catch the bus. We don't need to use the phrasal verb here because we just use catch the bus here. We're not catching up with the bus. So catch the bus meaning to take the bus, get on the bus, or arrive. So this one, I would just not use the phrasal verb and just say catch the bus. Um, Excellent sentence. So here we are using the gerund form of the verb. I love catching up with my friends in December. And I think this is quite a common thing for people to do at the end of the year to catch up with their friends. Perfect sentence. I can't wait to catch up with you. Excellent sentence. So if we're meeting a friend, we've arranged to meet, but we haven't met yet, we could use this here. I can't wait to catch up with you. Very nice. I will catch up with you in Washington. Yeah, so we just need to put in with here, Amit. I will catch up with you in Washington. Excellent. Very good, Asifa. Due to work, I don't think we need load, just due to work, I catch up with my friends on weekdays only. Okay, so you don't catch up with them any other times. Yep, I catch up with my friends on weekdays only. I with caught up with my mother a long time ago. So I'm not sure what you mean in this sentence, Amit. Um, but yeah, if you put in with here, grammatically it works. I caught up with my mother a long time ago. Last month, I caught up with my old friends for about 2 hours. It was a pleasant meeting. Perfect sentence, Layla. Really good use of catch up. And then this is describing the situation perfectly. So excellent sentences there, Layla. Last month, I caught up with my old friends for about 2 hours. It was a pleasant meeting. I should listen to it thoroughly to catch up everything. Yeah. So this is where we could use catch up in the first sense to you've missed some information and you need to get that information. So this, I should listen to it thoroughly to catch up with everything that was said. I think would be better. That was said. But yeah, this is a good way of using catch up in the first way that we use it when you are behind and you need to move forward. Yeah, very nice. We have to catch up with the times. Very good. Yep. So again, this is using the first way. We need to catch up with the times. Our mate is still late, but he will catch up with us in the classroom in a few minutes. Very good, Eunice. So again, we're using the first definition here. Excellent sentence. I was distracted and could not catch up everything. Now, here we don't need the phrasal verb sleepwalker. Here we're just using catch. So catch meaning to understand or hear everything. So I wouldn't use the phrasal verb here. I was distracted and could not catch everything here. Long time, no catching up with anybody. So I would change this. I haven't caught up with anybody for a long time. That's how we could make that sentence better, Asifa. I haven't caught up with anybody for a long time. Catching up is like a competition. Very good, Amit. Yeah. His position is ahead of the pack, so the other runners have to catch up with him if they want to be the winner. Very good, Mirnawati. Just take out ed here. His position is ahead of the pack, but the rest of the sentence is excellent. I will catch up within 2 months. So again, if we're using learning, yep, we can catch up with the information within 2 months. It's good. I'm all areas to caught up with your words thoroughly. So I'm not sure. I would just say I have caught up with all of your words thoroughly. I think that would be good. I have caught up. You're welcome, Sleepwalker. Amit, I am from Scotland in the UK. So here, again, this is not a time to use the phrasal verb. This is a time just to use catch. I'm all ears to catch your words thoroughly. We don't need to catch up because you're thinking catch meaning just to listen. Catch up doesn't mean just to listen. So if we look at these two definitions, this sentence doesn't really fit, but to catch your words thoroughly would fit. Yeah, it can be quite difficult to feel the difference there. But if we look again just at the definitions, somebody goes ahead and then you get to them later means to catch up, or to meet someone you haven't seen for a long time. So the thing with phrasal verbs is they have a very specific meaning. When we're using catch, the way that you have been using it just means to hear or to understand. So it's got quite a different meaning to catch up in the way that we have been using it. Um, Yep, to keep in touch or to get in touch after a long time, I think. So rather than just to keep in touch, that would be different. Catch up means it has to be someone that we haven't seen for a long time. So I will catch you up in 5 minutes would be good. I will catch you up in 5 minutes. Okay, let's move on to number four. And number four, I think most of you will probably have heard this phrasal verb before. This one is to eat out. And to eat out means to have a meal at a restaurant or cafe. So rather than saying, I'm going to have a meal at a restaurant tomorrow, people will more commonly use the phrasal verb, I am going to eat out tomorrow. So again, I've got some examples. My family and I are going to eat out at a local diner this weekend. So there we're using future, using going to. And then we've got a past tense sentence using the simple past. I ate out at a nice Greek restaurant last night. So eat out meaning to have a meal at a restaurant or cafe. And here are some examples of how the grammar can change depending on when you are talking about. So let's see if you can use eat out in some sentences. While you're doing that, let's see if I can see. I want to meet you. What can I do? I am from India. Well, Amit, that's going to be very, very difficult. I live in South Korea. I am from the UK. Currently, I'm in the UK. So I think that might be quite difficult to meet. But we can always meet online. We have the live streams, we have other ways to be in touch online. Excellent, Anna Maria. I love eating out on weekends with my family, and I would just change trying, trying different kinds of dishes. So there's a great example of how we can use it. I love eating out. Eating out can be expensive. Excellent example again, Anna Maria. Perfect sentence. My sister and I decided to eat out at a local restaurant because we haven't gone for a long time. Perfect sentence, Layla. That's really, really nice. Lovely linking words as well. Really good. Eat out means meal outside. Yeah. So, well, not No, not outside. It could be inside in a restaurant, but it means that you are going to a place where you are going to buy food. So usually restaurant or a cafe are the two places we would go if we are going to eat out. So yeah, it means to eat a meal in a restaurant or cafe. Basically, it means we're going out and we're buying food. We're sitting at a table to eat it. Generally, I don't prefer eating out and don't prefer. I'm not sure what you mean here. I think I would just say generally, I don't like eating out, or generally, I don't like to eat out. Both of those sentences would be fine. Eating out can be unhealthy. Excellent sentence, Amit. Very, very good. Eating out can be unhealthy. I prefer to meet my friends and eat out somewhere. Excellent sleepwalker. I mean, out of the house. Yes, not in your house, not in your friend's house, nobody's house. It would have to be in a restaurant or cafe. I always spend time with my family eating out on the weekend. Very good. Or here I would change on weekends or on the weekend. Both of them would be good. She spends a vast amount of money. So here we don't need of, but we need of here. She spends a vast amount of money on eating out. Very good. I stay away from eating out because there is sometimes unhealthy food. I prefer eating at home. Very good. So I would just add in from. I stay away from eating out because there is sometimes unhealthy food. I prefer, so here we don't need preferred. I prefer street food when I go to eat out. Good, Asifa. Do not wait for me. I will eat out. Okay, so you're saying, yeah, don't cook food for me at home. I will eat at a restaurant. Yeah, do not wait for me. I will eat out. Very good, everyone. So we're going to move on to, oh, Sleepwalker's got another one. We have set a date and we are going to eat out. Very good. And Gino is saying, I am Gino. How are you? I am very well, Gino. And is that how you pronounce your name here, Gino? If it's not, you can correct me. I am fine. It's very good to see you in today's live stream. So let's go on to another one. And this is another one that is about relationships, and it is get along. So to have a friendly or harmonious relationship, we like each other a lot. We've got lots of things to talk about. We get along. So I've got two examples here. The players of the other team don't get along with each other. So here's a negative, meaning they don't have a good relationship. So the players of the other team don't get along with each other. I get along really well with my new roommate. So here I get along, meaning I have a friendly, positive relationship. I get along really well with my new roommate. So get along means to have a friendly or harmonious relationship. You could say things like, I get along with my work colleagues. We have a lot of things in common. Or I don't get along with my boss. He is very strict. Or I get along very well with my brothers and sisters. We have a close relationship. So get along is really useful when we're talking about friendships or relationships. So again, with this one, I would like you to practice using this. Can you make some sentences using get along? And we will check some of these when they come in. So what we got here, I went to the beach. I ate out at the beach restaurant with my family. Excellent use of eat out there, Lavanya. I ate out. So we're talking about last month. Excellent. I ate out at the beach restaurant. Move on, another very commonly used phrasal verb. Yep, let's move on. Yep, meaning to continue something. There are 5 phrasal verbs left. We have to move on quickly, I guess. Yes, we do, Layla. I get along very well with all people from Robin's group. Great. We have known each other for a long time and we get along. Excellent. I have been got along with my girlfriend before we broke up for. Here, not I have been got along. We just need to say I got along with my girlfriend before we broke up. That would be it. I got along before we broke up. I get along well with James. Yes, I do get along well with Robin as well. Very nice. I get along with all people. Excellent to hear, Ali. Very nice. It's not a career. We are learning and practicing. Okay. Broke up. Yes, Eunice. My family and I get along all this time. Great. Some brothers and sisters don't get along with each other, unfortunately. Very good. Negative sentence, Layla. Get along means to have good behavior. Um, Not really. It's not really about your behavior. It's just more about having a good relationship. So maybe you have things in common, things that you like, things that you dislike. So it's not really so much about your behavior. It's basically about your feeling towards the other people. I get along very well with my parents. They're really conscious about my happiness, peace, and career. Good. I get along with my other state friend. Good. We have a lot in common and we get along with each other perfectly. Excellent. And getting along is sometimes very useful. Yeah. In your workplace, in life in general, getting along with people is a very important thing. I get along with Robin no matter that he doesn't like dogs and I adore them. Very good. Okay, now, as we're saying, we've only covered 5 phrasal verbs. So for the next 5, I'm not going to give examples. The next 5, I'm just going to explain, and then you can give your examples, and we'll do them at the end. So I'm aware that the live stream is going on quite a long time. So let's just go through the remaining 5 phrasal verbs. I will give you the short test where you can use some of these, and then you can still continue to write your comments in the chat, but I won't be checking them after each phrasal verb. So our next phrasal verb is to give up. And to give up means to stop making an effort, or to resign oneself to failure, or just to stop doing something. So here we've got, he was trained not to give up so easily. So again, here we're using it with a negative sentence. So if you don't give up easily, means that you always try. So give up meaning to stop making an effort or to stop doing something. So here's a very common sentence. I gave up playing guitar as it was too sore on my fingers. Lots of people who try to learn guitar give up. They stop making the effort. Another thing that people use this with is if they have a habit, they could give up. So people give up smoking, or give up drinking, or give up eating unhealthy food. So we can use give up as well to mean that we're stopping doing something, to stop making an effort, to resign yourself to failure, or just to stop a habit. So that was number 6, give up. Now remember, I'll come back and look at all of the comments at the end, but I'm going to go straight on to phrasal verb number 7, which is hang out. This is really commonly used because, again, it's about socializing and spending time with friends or family. So, hang out means to spend time relaxing or socializing informally. So, let's say you and your friend decide to go to the shopping mall. You could make a sentence, we are going to go to the shopping mall to hang out, or we are going to hang out at the shopping mall. So when we spend time with people informally, we will use this word, this phrasal verb, hang out. So some examples here. We usually hang out at our favorite restaurant every Friday. Using the past tense, I hung out with my friends last night. So hang changes to hung in the past. Again, we can use continuous forms, hanging out as well. So hang, hung, hanging. we would change the verb depending on the time that we are talking about. So there's another very, very useful phrasal verb to talk about spending time with people. We can hang out with them. So that is phrasal verb 7. So again, you can make your comments in the chat. I will check them all a little bit later. We're going to move on to phrasal verb 8, which is let down. And let down means to disappoint someone or maybe fail to support or help them. So maybe you have expected somebody to help you, but they haven't helped you. You would feel let down. Kind of similar to disappointed. So again, the students felt like they had let their teacher down. So this is another one where we can put subject or object in between here. Let their teacher down. Let him down. Let her down. So it is about showing disappointment in somebody or something. So another example, my brother was supposed to pick me up, so I had hoped or expected that he was going to pick me up, but he didn't come. He really let me down. So I was disappointed in him. So again, we'll notice we're putting the pronoun in between the phrasal verb. This happens with some phrasal verbs, not all of them. So he really let me down. They let their teacher down. So again, we can see it's not just simply using the phrasal verb sometimes. Sometimes we can put an object or subject in between, or just the simple pronoun in between. But let down means to disappoint someone. So again, you can write your example sentences in the chat. I will check them once we have finished phrasal verb number 10. Number 9 is another really commonly used phrasal verb when usually we're talking about things that we are excited about that are going to happen in the future. So maybe you have made an arrangement to meet an old friend. You haven't seen them for a long time, and we're really excited about meeting them. We could use look forward to. So it means to feel happy or excited about something that is going to happen. So the children in the village always look forward to Halloween. They are always excited before it happens and they look forward to it. Again, I am changing my grammar a little bit here. We're using present continuous, but we're using it to talk about a future plan. I am looking forward to my holiday this summer, meaning I am very excited about my holiday. So when we've got a future plan that is something that we feel happy or excited about, we can use look forward to describe that feeling. So again, I am looking forward to my dinner tonight. I am having steak and eggs, whatever it may be. So something we are excited about is look forward to. Um, Again, you can write your sentences in the chat. I will check them just in a few minutes because our final phrasal verb today is look up. And here we have two different meanings of look up. First of all, it can mean to search for and find a piece of information in a book or website or database. So it's like searching for information, to look something up. But it can also mean that a situation improves. So let's say Somebody had a very bad accident and they were in hospital, they were very sick, but they start to improve. Their situation gets better. We could say, oh, things are looking up for John. His condition is getting better. So, look up can have two different meanings here. And I've got two examples. The first example, meaning to search for information. So the translation process involved looking up words in dictionaries. So there's the first meaning. Searching for something is to look up. The second one, meaning things are improving. Things seem to be looking up at last. Things seem to be getting better at last. So, two very, very different meanings of the phrasal verb look up, and we shouldn't be confusing those meanings. So, it's important that we know there are two different meanings and when we can use each of those meanings. The first one to search for information, the second one to show that something has improved or is improving. So, those are our 10 phrasal verbs. Now, I'm going to go back and look at some of your sentences. So, hold on a second. What was number 6? Let me go back to 6. Give up. Okay. So, there's lots and lots of sentences here. Okay, I will never give up. Excellent sentence, Sleepwalker. And Amit has said, never give up. Very, very good. So, this is quite a common motivational thing, meaning that you will always do your best. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I learnt that in a song. Excellent. I won't give up. So I will keep trying. Excellent, Anna Maria. You should give up your misbehavior. Okay, very good. You should stop it. Now, here, this Lavanya, we don't need the phrasal verb. We only need the main verb's meaning here. So remember, give up means to stop doing something. So here, just take this out. I give my knowledge to my students. This phrasal verb use here is not appropriate. You should give up bad habits. Excellent, Asifa. Very good sentence. Robin always tells us, do not give up and keep practicing English every day until we reach fluency. Excellent. Do not give up. Keep going. Excellent there, Eunice. Learning to play musical instruments is very difficult. Many give up. Yes. Excellent sentence, Sleepwalker. I prefer to be online than hanging out with friends. Okay, so rather you prefer to be alone online rather than hanging out with friends. Very good use of hang out. I study English hard every single day. Although there are still difficulties I encounter, I never give up. Excellent sentence, Layla. You hang out in my house. Yep, it's a good sentence. I hung out with calm music. Now, we don't hang out with things, we hang out with people. So, if you're using this, if you want to use hang out, it would be with a friend. I hung out with my friend listening to calm music. But we don't hang out with things, it has to be with people. Let's forget all disagreements and hang out tonight. Excellent, Sleepwalker. Really good sentence. I don't want to give up on studying English since I have big goals a few years later. Yeah. So remember, Mirnawati, if we're using a, it's meaning one. Goals meaning more than one. So we cannot use them together. So it would either have to be I have a big goal or I have big goals. Don't Let Me Down, another wonderful song by the Beatles. Yes, it is, Anna Maria. That's one of my favorite Beatles songs. Lovely. They usually hang out with each other on Fridays and Saturdays. Perfect sentence, Layla. Don't give up. For all difficulties we'll achieve together. Your weakness is your strengths, is why they don't break down. So I would, Ali, when you're writing your sentence, try to check your spelling a little bit, but your use of give up is really good. I didn't mean to let you down. Excellent sentence. My boyfriend let me down so many times and we had to break up. Excellent, Anna Maria. Really nice sentence. He was let down by his own best friend. Good, Asifa. I expected that he would come to my wedding ceremony, but he let me down. Very good, Layla. James, we will try our best not to, we just need two in here, not to let you down. So we will try our best not to let you down. Excellent and very nice meaning to the sentence, Sleepwalker. I said that let me down my boss. Okay, I'm not sure. There's a lot of things happening in this sentence, but I'm not sure what's happening here. So maybe my boss let me down or I let my boss down could be good. This letdown is so confusing because it's far from the meaning of each word, let and down. It seems, a lot of phrasal verbs are idiomatic, Eunice. We kind of talked about this earlier. The phrasal verb doesn't have the same meaning as the verb or the preposition. The phrasal verb has its own meaning. So sometimes the phrasal verb meaning is similar to the verb, but a lot of the time it has nothing to do with the verb. They are like new pieces of vocabulary that have their individual meanings. Yeah, so in that way, they are very idiomatic. I'm looking forward to Robin's live stream in 1 hour. Excellent. I look forward to hearing from you. Very nice. Often children let down their parents. Good. I was looking forward to meeting one of my best teachers. Finally, I met him today. So we don't need early, just I met him today. I am looking forward to learning English with James every weekend. Thank you very much, Mirnawati. It's a lovely sentence. I look forward to my result. Yep, very good. I'm looking forward to have a good result on Ielts in December. Very nice. I looked up this word in the dictionary. Perfect sentence. I am looking for a bright... Okay, so here we haven't used the phrasal verb, look up. We're just using looking. What is the look? So look forward to would just be I am not looking forward to. So not look forward to. I don't look forward to, or I am not looking forward to. That would be the negative. No, not... It could mean something similar, but yeah. I am looking forward to eating a pizza tonight. Yeah, could be it. But feeling is kind of talking about something that's happening now. Look forward to is talking about a future plan that has already been made, and we are excited about that plan in the future. So it's slightly different to feel. Feel's usually talking about something happening to you now. Look forward to we already have the plan made in the future. So they are different. Um, I usually go to the English dictionaries to look up the meaning of those words there. Very good. Since last year, my English has been so here I would take out been and just my English has looked up. Okay, my English has looked up. I am looking up for a best pie. So here, yeah, I would say I am looking up Python tutorials on YouTube. I am looking up means I am searching. So I am looking up Python tutorials on YouTube. Every country's people are let down by the government's decisions. Excellent sentence, Lavanya. And I think that's quite a common feeling. Yeah. Looking up for expressions and words. So here we don't need for. Looking up expressions and words is a common task we have to do when we are learning a language. Very nice. Good, Mirnawati. After facing hardship in my life, suddenly things are looking up. They are getting better. They are improving. My teachers, Robin and James, tell me that my English, I would say my English is looking up. If you give up, that means you never get success. Not never. It just means that you are giving up one thing. So you could still be successful at another thing. But yeah, generally, if you give up many things, you're not going to be successful. But yeah, people give up one or two things. It could be okay. Hanging up with family hits differently. Asifa, I'm not sure what we mean here. So hang up is something we would use to talk about when we're on the phone. We would hang up the phone means to end a phone call. So I think we're having some confusion with the phrasal verb. I find out that our relationship needs to be looked up. I'm not sure what we're trying to say here. Maybe something like our relationship is looking up means it's getting better. And she always let me down, and I decided to get away from her at that moment. Okay, good. Things are looking up at my new job. Sometimes we need to give up and move to new things. Very good. Can you tell me of this session? Asifa, we usually, I my live streams are usually on Wednesday and Sunday at the same time. Robin's schedule is a little bit different. But if you join the WhatsApp group, the schedules are usually put on there and you will be made aware of when the videos will be happening. Listening is interesting and enjoying. Listening is interesting and enjoyable. Very good. Thank you, Amit. Okay. So I don't think we're going to have time to go through everything else there. I know Robin has another live stream coming up. And I know some of you will be attending that there. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to skip by today's vocabulary test and we'll go right on to the homework today. So the homework that I want you to do today is to choose one of today's phrasal verbs and use that to write a paragraph describing something in your life. So it could be something like your computer broke down, or maybe where you like to hang out, who you get along with, or something you gave up, or anything else related to the 10 phrasal verbs that we have studied in today's class. Now, we're just going to use the phrasal verb to describe the situation. We don't need to use it more than once. we can then write about that situation. So I've given an example here. So I've chosen the phrasal verb eat out. So I've started my paragraph with that phrasal verb. I like to eat out in Italian restaurants. And now I'm just going to go on and describe that. My favorite place is called Bella Napoli. It serves all kinds of pizza and pasta, and the food is always very fresh. I go there once a month with my family and usually order a pepperoni pizza and some side dishes. I am looking forward to my next visit there. So I felt that there was an opportunity for me to use a second phrasal verb from today. So that's what I did. I put another one. So if you, in your writing, I want you to use one phrasal verb at the beginning describing the situation. But if you think you can use some other phrasal verbs that we learned today in your writing, great. But please don't try just to put a phrasal verb in when it doesn't fit. Only use a phrasal verb if you understand the meaning and you know how to use it correctly. So, that is going to be today's homework. Write a sentence describing a situation using one of the phrasal verbs. So it could be any of the 10 phrasal verbs we've used today. And then just write a paragraph describing that situation. You can post your homework in the comment section of this video on YouTube. If you post your homework, I will give you some feedback and corrections on that homework. So, yeah, that is the homework question. Choose one of the phrasal verbs and write about it. So, let's see. We'll just go over some of these. She always let me down. Okay, we did that before. So my English has looked up. Okay. I usually go to English dictionaries to look up the meanings of any new vocabulary. Good. You're welcome, Ali. I'm glad you understood the explanation of negative forms. Looking forward to means wanting something eagerly. Yeah. You're excited, you're looking forward, you're eager to do something. Very good. Amit, I'm not sure who this question is aimed at, but yeah, English is my mother tongue. I guess will be bodybuilding lesson. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, Ali. Um, no, I don't think it fits really here. We need to look up our relationships. It doesn't really fit in that sentence. I would say here we need to work on our relationship. So if we want to improve it, we want to make it better, we need to work on our relationship would be better there. Sleepwalker. You are welcome, Layla. Students look up to their teachers. Okay, there's another meaning. To admire someone is to look up to someone. Good. Anna Maria, you are very, very welcome. Interacting makes a difference, rather than just seeing the video. Well, yeah, I'm glad that you appreciate the efforts, Anna Maria. Thank you, James. You're very welcome, Lavanya. You're welcome, Amit. I hope you have a good night to do. Yep, work on. Yep, we're going to work on our relationship, Sleepwalker. You're welcome, Eunice. You've said it's been amazing and helpful, and you would like to learn more about phrasal verbs. This is something we will be doing more in the future. And Amit is saying, I wish you your happy life. Well, thank you very much, Amit. And I think on that note, we are going to wrap up today's live stream. Thank you, everyone, for your input today. Please remember, oh, Anna Marie deserves part 2. Yeah, I will definitely do a part 2. No, I'm just using he/she as an example that there would be kind of 2 options. We wouldn't put he dash she on the final writing. We would choose one of them. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're going to finish up there. Thanks for your input. Please, everyone, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I hope you all have a great day today, and I will see you in the next live stream. Bye for now, everyone.